1 right now.
Don't call me kiddo. I'm a little kiddo. All I shut off my just go back. No, no, I land. I'm a little. Thank you, Lord. Lala, you will get wild. I'm a little.
The news. Nigeria police arrest kingpin Waduma in Kaduna State. Delta State government warns youth against cultism, promise to tackle electricity problem in tertiary institutions. House of Representatives passes motion on extension of Alaja Itope Rail project in Abuja. On sports, Nigeria Football Federation vows to help Samson Siasa in FIFA ban saga. Welcome to the news. I am Oris Esima Anirita. The Nigerian police says it has rearrested the kingpin Hamisu Dambala Wadume. Police spokesman Frank Mbas said Wadume was rearrested in the late hours of Monday in his hideout in Lion May Alo Hotoro area of Kano State. Wadume escaped after soldiers attacked and killed the policeman who had captured him. The incident, which occurred along Ibu Wukari Road in Taraba State on August 6, also left a civilian dead. Chief of Defense Staff General Abajomi Olunisakan had constituted a 7-man joint investigation panel to probe the incident. The Delta State government has warned youths in the state to shun cultism, criminality, and other antisocial activities, or be ready to face the full wrath of the law. The Senior Special Assistant on Security, Comrade Daniel Ezekiel, gave the warning on Monday while speaking on recent security developments in the state. The reports.
According to the Senior Special Assistant to the State Governor on Security Matters, Comrade Daniel Ezekiel, the increased rate of cultism and corruption in the state, especially reported cases of cultism by primary school pupils, is worrisome. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor lamented that cultism had destroyed life on daily basis. Therefore, noted to stamp out cultism and other related crimes, and we are still involved in cultism to turn a new leaf or prepare to face the full weight of the law. Commander Ezekiel HC pirates on the state waterways to relocate from the state because the security apparatus will, as the state government is determined to make the waterways safe for Deltans and other Nigerians.
Cultism, sea pirates among the youth will be minimum, if not actually eradicated from the facet of traditional Delta State society soon. I only want to assure all Deltans that I will join hands with all the security agencies and other government organs in making an organization that fled Delta State to relocate back to a more secure and peaceful Delta State.
On the upsurge of herdsmen and farmers clashes in the state, the Senior Special Assistant to the State Governor Comrade Daniel Ezekiel told herdsmen who will not do their business in the state peacefully to. He also decried the rising rate of drug abuse by young people and implored youth in the state to desist from the vice. Comrade Ezekiel called on relevant authorities to double efforts at curbing the menace in the state, urging Deltans to continue their support for the state governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, towards fulfilling its prosperity for all Deltans promise.
The government says it will ensure 24-hour power supply through solar energy in tertiary institutions in the state within the next 6 months. The State Commissioner for Higher Education, Professor Patrick Mobogari, who stated this in an interview with newsmen in Asaba, decried the electricity deficits in the institutions. Correspondent in Kemweke sent in his report presented from our studios.
Speaking on the steps being taken by the Delta State government towards addressing the electricity problem in tertiary institutions in the state, the Higher Education Commissioner, Professor Patrick Mobogari, said from all indications a pilot scheme will be installed in Delta State Polytechnic Ogwashuku, while Delta State Polytechnic Ogara will follow suit after 2 months. According to Professor Mobogari, the solar projects, which would be financed through partnership, inaugurated by while government the financial commitments monthly after 3 years. Professor Mobogari expressed optimism that in the next 6 months, Ogwashuku will get 24 hours power supply, saying the effort was government's way of keying into the sustainable and renewable energy in best practices.
Vendors and suppliers are coming because we have solar. We have surplus solar power in there. You know, academics have written many papers solar and environment friendly energy. But you know we are not very good at across to this side. We want to convert all the grammar we have been speaking about solar energy into practice. And a few persons have come from preliminary studies to start with the Ogwashuku. Where I can almost say that within the Delta State Polytechnic Ogwashuku should have 24 hours.
Professor Mobogari stated that the deficit power supply in tertiary institutions had been managed internally generated revenue IGRO of the institutions were always almost spent on diesel to get power supply.
We go again on that report. The Delta State government has awarded contracts for 15 road projects in Okpanam community in Oshimele North local government area. Correspondent Miriam Mweke reports that the State Commissioner for Works, Chief James Ogoya, disclosed this while briefing newsmen at the Ministry of Information.
James Ogoya continuous desalting of the drainage at Asaba Azes was as a result of the huge sand from Okpanam area. Says the road projects were awarded to control that filled the drainage. According to the Commission, road projects drains on both sides of the road, and remedial work was being carried out by the contractor to enable residents to use the road until the rain subsided and work on it would commence. He appealed to residents of the area to be patient with the state government as it understands their plight. Debunked the rule that the Asaba Road project had demobilized from sites. He said work on the road was ongoing and to take ownership of the project, monitor the contractor and engineers to ensure there is no compromise have been taken to ensure positive results in Asaba Road project.
There are so many things we cannot do. For instance, swapping terrain. It's rain. Just as we have in the south and the some parts of Vietnam where the is very high. But that notwithstanding, we are also doing some construction works in these areas, especially drainage work.
Chief Ogoy to the rains, the state government had agreed with contractors to construct and concrete work and disclosed that the 7.2 kilometers Asaba Road project. He also explained the reason in the completion of Ikmide Iri Road, saying that the ministry discovered that it on both sides and had awarded the on the road.
Of course, you can see what we are doing on the Ubele Expressway. The sector A, that is from Ubele to New, we are doing asphalting work already for the rain.
Chief will only embark on long distance and high technical road projects required proper investigation, stating that the Asaba Capital Territory Development Agency and the Ubia Development are in charge of short tunnel roads in Asaba and Warri and the environs for quick response. The press briefing was attended by the Information Commissioner, Mr. Charles Anyagu, the Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Olise Ifejika, and the Functionary Ministry of Information, Mr. Paul Osao, and directors from the Ministry of Works.
The motion in the federal and the Alaja Warri to its rail project to Abuja has been passed by the House of Representatives. Mover of the motion, Honorable Francis Waive, explains that the extension is to enable the people of Udu and directly to Abuja by rail. Reverend Francis Waive has also, which was passed on the floor of the House, calling for a review of the Police Act to accommodate. The lawmaker who represents Udu Ugeli constituency in the House of Representatives stated that community policing would go a long way to solving the insecurity challenges facing the country. Reverend Waive, who had opened the Udu Patani Road, also contributions towards representation of the people of Udu Ugeli Federal Constituency.
Other than being there, I've also made sure I'm not a bench warmer. I've always been vocal, I've always spoken on issues. I've motions, and I've read a couple of motions too, and they are well documented, and my people, my constituents are well abreast of them. I've also spoken on cultism in the House, how that government should include in the curriculum of our secondary schools and in their curriculum. There has also been the one on policing, community policing. And my position is being that within the Nigerian police force, because I know that some parts of the don't want to hear of state police. In the context of the Nigerian police force, we could promote community policing. Let the policemen from a division be people from that division. They know the nooks and crannies. They know the persons. They will know a stranger when he comes in. I think it will help policing to become more effective. This day that we are facing upsurge in crime.
The full interview with Andrew Francis Wyve will broadcast our first program, the Drtv guest, on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Privilege sent President Muhammadu Buhari for signing the Correctional Service Bill into law. A statement signed by SECTREP's Executive Director, Mr. Ogenejabo Ikimi, repeats this act is made up of the facilities within correctional service. This of a bill service now being Nigerian Correctional states that the non-custodial service is a case of wherein person's sentence would not stay in custody but would not stay in would make such as community service, probation, parole, as opposed to custodial service where persons sentenced therein are kept in the protective custody of central law. Inmates under the custodial service shall be interned in safe and humane conditions by empowering them through the deployment of educational and vocational skills, training programs and facilities, as well as facilitating incentives and income generation through custodial centers, farms and industrials, among others. He pointed out that the law will tackle the issue of funding for the service as regards the welfare for inmates and workers, empowers the service to project more intakes of inmates where it is apparent that the correctional center in question is filled to capacity under Section 12, Subsection 8 of the Act. The Body Act, where an inmate sentenced to death has executed all legal procedures for appeal and a period of 10 years has elapsed without execution of the sentence, the Chief Judge under Section 12, Subsection C of the Act may commute the sentence of death to life imprisonment. It urged the federal government to muscle the required political will to execute all the provisions of the said law word for word in accordance with a national interest. The Supreme Court Tuesday struck out an appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. The court struck out the appeal in which it held that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the PDP did not have a reply to an application filed in May by the All Progressives Congress (APC). The application sought, amongst others, to dismiss the dismissal of Alhaji Atiku and President Muhammadu Buhari's victory at the last presidential election. In the ruling, a five-man panel led by Justice Datijo Mohammed struck out the appeal, saying it was no longer legally. The Supreme Court also suspended proceedings to rule on another appeal by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of PDP for permission to be allowed access to a supposed server owned by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has reacted to the Supreme Court ruling on an appeal filed by its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar at the ongoing election tribunal. The APC had erroneously made two replies to one of the PDP and Atiku Obi's petition, but later came to the courtroom and applied to withdraw the very reply the PDP and Atiku Obi had replied to, thereby adopting the one not replied to. Report says the request was later granted by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and the PDP and Atiku Obi had gone to the Supreme Court seeking the leave of court to grant the party fair hearing. The main petition is still before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and the adoption of the final written addresses by various parties will take place Wednesday at the Court of Appeal, Abuja, venue of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. The All Progressives Congress (APC) in Adamawa State has filed vacancies created by the suspension of 3 members. The party had last week suspended Aliyu Bakari, Vice Chairman, Adamawa Central, Saidu Naira, State Financial Secretary, and Babangida Talasai, Party Chairman of Mayo Belwa, allegedly for trying to withdraw a petition which the APC filed against the state governor Madu Fintiri, questioning his election under the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the last governorship election. A press statement issued by the State Publicity Secretary of the party, Muhammad Abdullahi, named Abdullahi Waliyu an ex-official to coordinate the Adamawa Central Zone of the party as acting zonal vice chairman. Officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) Tuesday morning raided the home of the former governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, in Epe area of the state. Aide to the former governor, who spoke on anonymity, confirmed the raid by operatives of the EFCC. He also revealed that Mr. Ambode, who is not in the country, being accused of corruption. An accident occurred Tuesday at the Ogunu Bridge by Federal Government College in Warri South Local Government area of Delta State. Eyewitness told newsmen that the accident occurred at about 6:30 a.m., leaving the driver unhurt. According to the eyewitness, the driver veered off the road and ran into the Federal Government College Warri fence, leaving the car badly damaged. The driver of the car, who was the only one in the car, was reportedly saved by the airbag in it. Motorists have been advised to always put on their seatbelts and observe all safety rules while driving. The police and A Division Warri have declared one Mrs. Happiness Ibrahim and her 8-month-old baby missing. According to a police extract, Mr. Ibrahim Yunusa of New Layout Ubeji Warri alleged that his wife absconded with his 8-month-old baby boy to an unknown destination since 11th July 2019. It states that efforts to trace her whereabouts through her family members and friends proved abortive. Anyone with information that could lead to her whereabouts should contact the police at A Division Warri or the nearest police station. A police officer with the A Division Warri, Precious Obo, is in search of her police uniform and a pair of shoes contained in her paper bag, which she left on a tricycle popularly called keke. She boarded from Mercy City to Efron roundabout. Precious Obo, who said a handsome reward awaits anyone who comes across the items, stated that her efforts to recover the lost items had proved abortive. She requested anyone in possession of the items to contact her on 0806 0134 777 or bring them to the Ejebe premises of Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Warri. And on sports, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has disclosed its readiness to help former Nigerian player and coach Samson Siasia clear his name over the bribery allegations and placed on him ethics committee. Victor Bugidi of our sports desk has details of this and others in the world of sports. Stay.
The 20th is officially underway in Rabat, Morocco. The opening ceremony of the 12th Games was at the Prince Mullah Abdullah Stadium, with Team Nigeria having the second largest contingent of 427 athletes and officials. In the world of tennis, South Korea's Lee Dok-hee became the first deaf player to win a match in the main draw of a tournament on the ATP Tour. The 21-year-old, ranked 212th in the world, beat Swiss Henry Laaksonen 7-6-6-1 at the Winston-Salem Open in North Carolina. On the home front, the Nigerian Football Federation is standing by its former national team coach Samson Siasia, saying it is shocked by the live ban for bribery meted out by FIFA and vowing to help overturn it. Acting NFF President Barrister Seyi Akinwumi said in a statement that the Federation empathizes with Siasia at this time and will make themselves available and hope that in some way he is able to clear his name. 3 Nigerian football stars, David Okereke, Emmanuel Dennis and Peter Olayinka, will be in action later Tuesday in the UEFA Champions League playoffs first leg matches. Okereke and Dennis are part of Club Brugge of Belgium's squad that will face Austria club Lask, while Peter Olayinka's Slavia Prague will be up against Romanian outfit CFR Cluj. Over in Europe, former Chelsea and current Juventus manager Maurizio Sarri is being treated for pneumonia. The 60-year-old, who was diagnosed with illness after further tests revealed the extent of his condition. Take two. The 60-year-old was diagnosed with illness after further tests revealed the extent of his condition. He missed Juventus' weekend-friendly game with Triestina with what was initially thought to be a flu. In the transfer world, Chelsea have agreed a deal for David Zappacosta to join AS Roma on a year loan deal. Zappacosta, who is in Lampard's plan, leaves after 2 years at Stamford Bridge, in which he struggled for game time under both Antonio Conte and Maurizio Sarri. Victor Onajiro reporting.
And still on sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles recorded their first victory in the men's football event at the ongoing 12th All-Africa Games, edging out South Africa 2-1 on Tuesday at the Stade Hassan Malay in Rabat. The Flying Eagles were earlier held to a 1-1 draw by Burkina Faso in their first Group A fixture last Friday. The Magita opening exchanges, but it was the Flying Eagles that took the lead on the arm mark through Colin Shaw, following a cross from the near side. The Flying Eagles had other chances but failed to double their lead before the end of the first half. The South Africans went in search of the earlier equalizer after the break, and their efforts were rewarded when Offense Masheni hit the back of the net in the 55th minute with a powerful shot following a super delivery by Sienda Mansni from a net ball. Abubakar Ahmed, however, netted the winning goal for Nigeria 14 minutes from time. Paul Aimugun's charge will take on host Morocco in their last group game on Friday. And away from sports to entertainment, we will tell you that Nigeria Deji Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, has become the first African artist to hit 8 million monthly streams on Spotify. The online music streaming platform revealed Wizkid's popularity on the platform on Monday. Victor Bugidi again completes this and other entertainment gist. Stay.
Nigerian celebrities Toyi Lawani and Mr. Jollof have reacted to a viral video of Omashola ignoring other Big Brother Naija housemates fighting. In the video, he was seen with his sunglasses on, swaying his head while the housemates argued. Afro-pop star Ayodeji Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, has become the first African artist to hit 8 million monthly streams on Spotify. Spotify is an online music streaming platform that pays royalties based on the number of artists' streams as a proportion of total songs streamed. The previous record was held by Congolese rapper and singer Mysore Dreams, who had 7 million monthly listeners. Meanwhile, former member of the defunct Plantation Boys, Black FaZe, has sent a cease and desist letter to Tubaba, FaZe and Rugged Man. The legal document said this is to prevent them from performing any materials of Plantation Boys. The legal document said this is to prevent them from performing any materials of Plantation Boys, stating that they should focus on performing their own songs. On the global scene, popular American comedy Arts has emerged the highest gross in the industry with $59 million. The revenue Friday, the 1st of June 2018 and Saturday, the 1st of June 2019. South Africa's Trevor Sebastian and Kako, the top 10 highest earning comedians. The entertainment updates for today.
Wait, that's a report. Lights. So now police to the kidnapper in Misu and Frank Ubas said Waduma was rearrested in brought to the reports that the Delta state government has Security gave the was speaking on in the state. Thank you so much for your and your time.